Hey guys, it's Core Ross and welcome to 6 News. So today we're talking about a big change in the test servers that if it goes live is going to affect everybody, and I think this system could be better. This is the change to Observation Tools Visual Feedback, which is a fancy way of saying cameras and drones. Now of course right now cameras and drones have a red light, which is not a very good system because for new players coming into the game, red usually means that it's a bad guy device, you shoot it and destroy it. Whereas you could be on attack with a drone that has a red light, but that's actually a friendly drone, or you could be on defense with a camera with a red light, but that's actually a friendly drone. It's not a very good system. So they're changing it. What they're going to do is make defenders' cameras blue and attackers' drones yellow. And if like Mozzie takes over a drone, the drone becomes blue. So it's a way of distinguishing the actual teams apart, which is a great idea in theory, but the problem is if you make defenders' cameras blue, that's the opposite of what they originally spawn as. So the very first round, attackers will be blue and defenders will be orange. But a team also remains the same color throughout the game. So you'll always spawn very first round, attackers blue, defenders orange. But by round 2, you switch over and the same team, the blue team, now becomes the defenders and the orange team now becomes the attackers. So on round 2, the cameras and drones match your team colors. Whereas in round 1, attackers' drones were orange. It doesn't make any sense. So it means that colors actually match up half of the time. Only half of the rounds in a game you have the correct color for your devices. This seems needlessly complex. Now, of course, the system's already complex with Mozzie having an outline for friendly drones, for having different colors now for different drones controlled by different teams. Of course, Dokkaebi can also get into the cameras and hack them. You also have Knock and Vigil, who actually turn the enemy cameras and drones white in color, making it even harder to identify who's who, and it confuses it massively. So what I want to suggest is, because I don't like this system, I think it's a little bit on the complex side, I'm going to suggest a new system and see what you guys think, and if the developers watch this, maybe they'll like it too. So first of all, this is an extremely complicated subject with all these different interaction between operators, different people being able to view it. You can even have a defender and an attacker viewing the same camera at the same time. So first of all, just take it back, simplify it, and what I would do is if a teammate is on a camera or a drone, do not have a light for me as that teammate on those drones. So if I'm an attacker and I see a drone that's being controlled by another attacker, just don't have a light on it. But if a defender sees that same drone, they would see a red light on it, indicating it's an enemy drone. If I'm an attacker and I look up at a camera, but Dokkaebi's on it, then it could be no light. But if a defender's also viewing it, then there will be a light on, a red one, to let me know that I'm being observed by an enemy. Red light means bad, means enemy. I can then decide to shoot out that camera if I want. So the only time I'll ever see an observation tool with a light on it is if a bad guy is actually viewing me through it. This way, red lights will always be an indication of bad guys. Because think about it, you never actually need to know that a teammate's on a drone or on a camera. If they're communicating with you, they'll let you know. If they're not communicating with you, it doesn't matter because they're not going to be able to tell you anything they're seeing anyway. So you don't need to have that added information. The other advantage here is that for new players, a red light will mean bad guys, shoot it, which is usually the instinctive thing to do in a computer game. It also helps color blindness. If we have 2 different colors for cameras, actually 3 because we've got blue lights on drones and cameras, we've got orange on drones and cameras, but also when Vigil or Knock are around, the lights turn to white. This is, again, just needlessly confusing, and it means we have a big issue when it comes to color blindness, because if we've got 3 different lights, then someone with color blindness might not be able to tell it apart, either potentially 2 of them or 3 of them. Whereas if we have one single light that indicates bad, even if it's red, it doesn't matter. If you've got color blindness, you can still make out that there is a light on that device. If in normal situations there is no light whatsoever, you'll be able to spot it and take it out, which to me, makes it far simpler. You're reducing the amount of lights that you have, so there's only one color to ever worry about. Get rid of the white, get rid of the other colors, just red for bad guys observing you, and that way you're able to reduce the complexity and make it hopefully easier. Now, it's not the perfect system because it does reduce that knock and visual indication that you get when you have those white lights, but I've never really understood that because it's not just knock and visual, it's every player, and it's like, is that to let people know that they're around? Is it a warning signal, or is it for them to know that the devices are working fine? It seems oddly complex. So let me know what you think of this. Like I say, it's a complicated subject. My solution is probably not perfect, and I don't think the current version on the test server is perfect, and I don't think the version on the live servers is perfect. I think we definitely could improve it all round, but how we get there, I'm not entirely sure. So I want your suggestions as well in the comments. Anyway guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.